Bada bing. All right. So today we're here to talk about essentially the most important things in life, especially for athletics. And today we're going to talk about, you know, everything about health for athletes and health for the general population, really. Because we know that today, about 99% of humans, at least in America for sure, are unhealthy and eating bad. So we're going to cover it all today. And we're going to talk about how fruits can power athletes, how fruit is probably the most important thing you need because it has everything you need. We're going to talk about protein and meat and the lies about protein and meat that you've been told that you believe because somebody went to school or somebody, just made up things seen, as well as weightlifting and its effects on decreasing your performance and injuring you and affecting the body negatively. And then talking about barefoot shoes, barefoot walking without barefoot shoes, or the minimalist shoe, whatever you want to call it, as well as your fascia, fake food, real food, and how all these inventions, from shoes to houses to chairs to cars, everything, ruin the body. And this natural machine has been, what word should I use for it? I would say this natural machine has been basically downplayed to all these man-made machines, which the man had to make in the first place. And even if a machine made the machine, a man made that machine, which made that machine. And even if that machine made that machine, a man made that machine that made that machine that made that machine. So we're going to talk about everything today. You see, I got my watermelon here. Let me take my last bite. I'm going to take it aside. We're going to walk while we talk about this. Actually, no, we're going to sit down for a while. But okay, off rip. First thing I want to talk about is lifting weights. And what's up, Edward? First of all, shout out to Edward from Team Dream. He's going to be a pro one day. But anyway, let's talk about lifting weights and protein. So there's a lot of myths and beliefs about lifting weights and why it's good for you. But I'm going to break down to you why it's not good. So first of all, you have something called DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness, which basically means when you work out, you usually get sore. You feel your muscles get sore and you don't feel good. It feels good because you've been taught that lifting weights makes you stronger, whatever. So even though it doesn't physically feel good, you feel good about yourself. Even though this lifting of weights will destroy your performance at some point, especially if you don't have other prerequisite things. So delayed onset muscle soreness, which is your breakdown of your muscles. which I never understood it, because why would we want to break something down, especially if we are in season or leading up to season? Why would we want to break something down to then get it stronger? Why not just get it stronger without breaking it down? Because, for example, let's say you're growing a fruit, right? You're growing something in your yard. You don't have to destroy the roots to make it stronger. You don't have to put it through harsh conditions to make it stronger. You just water it. You just make it better to make it stronger. Nothing has to be destroyed to make it stronger. So this is the problem with weights. And you have to think, back in the day, hundreds and thousands of years ago and millions of years ago, people didn't have weights to lift weights. So this is a relatively new thing. So we basically saying that, oh, people were not able to get strong back then. That's false. There's people back then are stronger than people today. And they had no weights, right? So it's not all about weights. Now you can lift weights, but weights shouldn't be lifted in trying to train a single muscle, because that's not how your body works. You might lift something, but you're never gonna do this. You're never gonna sit there and do this, right? So it's not about the size of your muscles, because if you look at somebody like Jackie Chan, right? Or any great martial artist, they can do push-ups, handstands on their fingertips. In Asia, there's a contest that they do where they put 2 fingers from each hand, sometimes even 1 finger from each hand, and they hold their whole body up, feet up, everything. So this tells you, and they don't be big, they be skinny. So this tells you that it's not about the muscle size. Strength is not dependent on the size of the muscle. And an example I always give people is, what would you rather get hit by? Would you rather get hit by a chair, which is a pretty big thing, or would you rather get hit by a bullet? Now, I'm pretty sure 100% of people would say, unless you're crazy, would say the chair. Because a bullet at the speed it's traveling is what causes it to hurt. If I just threw a bullet at you, it's not going to hurt. But the speed that it's moving at, the gun pushes the bullet so fast that the speed creates the force. And that's what makes the bullet dangerous, not the bullet itself. Okay? So you got that. Then when it comes to, I recently learned about something called the fascia, which nobody talks about. They don't talk about it in the textbooks. And it's more so something that's neglected from most of mainstream training, mainstream media. And it's actually it is the most important part of your athleticism and just daily function, for you not to feel pain, for you to have quick responses in your body, for your body to move and be functional. So when you lift, you usually get slower as an athlete. You usually get less bouncy, unless you have a good connection already in your fascia. Hold on 1 second. Let me put this back inside so flies stop going all over.
DJ, you can't close the door.
So I didn't. No, you didn't close it. You didn't.
No, why is it glossy?
Okay, so back to what I was saying. Back to what I was saying. Your fascia I learned, is your most important line of tissue for athleticism and daily movement, pain reception, and it's where the majority of your nerves actually lie. And it's a very thin layer that covers every organ in your body. So there's not an organ in your body, there's not a muscle in your body, not a bone, nothing that is not covered in fascia. And different areas of the body have different amounts or levels of fascia, right? So we'll come back to that later. But now we're going to talk about the lies about protein and why meat, you don't necessarily need it. So when it comes to protein, first of all, a lot of people don't even understand what protein is, right? So protein is actually a complex thing. It's a complex nutrient, right? And what protein is really just amino acids. But when you get protein from animals, right? It's a complete protein, okay? But it's complex. So that means your body has to first break it down into amino acids to then nourish your body with the amino acids to build your muscles up, build different parts of your body up, right? Opposed to fruits, vegetables, nuts, and some herbs. The amino acids, they're already amino acids. They're not these complex proteins that the body has to break down. The body can use it right away. It doesn't have to break it down. So that already shows you that the amino acids from meat versus the amino acids from vegetables and things that humans were supposed to made to eat are different than meat. Because let's say you believe in the Bible or you believe in God, whatever religion, everybody should know that it says the herbs are the healing of the nation, not the meat. So why is everybody trying to act like meat is the most important thing you need when it's not? Because last time I checked, herbs were the healing of the nation. Fruits are the healing of the nation, not meat. As well as none of you guys, I haven't seen nobody yet, unless you live in a tribe maybe that is not flourishing with fruits and vegetables and herbs. I haven't seen nobody yet, and even they don't eat it raw, most of the things. I ain't seen nobody yet eat the meat raw, how the animals do it. So this is another thing that proves that humans are not meant for meat consumption, especially on the levels that we do. Now you can consume it still, but your body's not really made for it, because our digestive tract is way longer than any carnivore. So that means that in our stomach acid isn't hot enough. So we also don't have claws, we don't have fangs for teeth, we don't have sharp teeth. Our bite force is pretty weak compared to the average carnivore animal. So when it comes to eating meat, you can do it, but it's not optimal for humans really, because of those things I just said, as well as a lot of the meat today, unless you, like I said, you own your own animals, or you live somewhere in a tribe and you're hunting it and literally eating it at that moment, or like some within an hour, the meat starts to decay and rot. So all that meat you get from the store, it doesn't actually look like that. They have to dye it. Because if you've ever went fishing, go fishing and leave, cut open your fish and just let it sit for a whole day. Even in the fridge, it's gonna start to turn gray after some point. So all that red that you see in the meat and all the pink or whatever, that's all cap so that it looks appealing to you. None of the meat is actually that color. Right? And I'm gonna answer questions as I go. Let me finish this. Let me just finish all my topics so I don't lose track. And then I'm gonna go through and answer all y'all questions. But meat has a lot of carcinogens in it because it's not meant for us. There's especially in the meat in America for sure. It's too processed. It's too. It's going through all these unsanitary environments. The meat, they don't even kill it in an instant way to where the animal didn't have fear running through its body, because emotions also affect the meat. So if the animal is in fear when it's killed, that then goes into its bloodstream, goes into every ounce of its body. And then that same hormone it had is going into you. And you also don't even know what is actually in the meat, because a lot of the meat, especially like boneless, it's just a bunch of stuff mixed up. You don't know if there's bones in there. A lot of this stuff is just mixed up, crunched all together. You don't know what type of meat it is. You don't even know how they clean the meat. So, and if you think that the way that we eat is how we should eat, you really not thinking, because when you look around, especially in the United States, look around at some of these places. How is there so much disease in the world? Because 99% of this disease comes from food. I almost want to say 100, but there's some that's different. But almost 100% of disease comes from food itself. And disease is not a natural thing. Disease is nothing but dis-ease. The body is not at ease. And disease it's a bad thing if you let it go on too long, but all disease is curable, from cancer to whatever. AIDS, diabetes, whatever. You just got to put the body in the right state for long enough. But all disease can be cured. All disease comes from food. A lot of the food is not even real food. And it's like we eating snacks and stuff, but the snacks aren't real. Like I said, you can eat some of this stuff sometimes, but to be eating it consistently is not good for your health at all. Like 99% of the stuff you go to a store and see was created by a human. Not by God, not by nature. It was created by a human. Pop-Tarts aren't real. What is a Pop-Tart? You can't name one real food component of a Pop-Tart. You can't. You just can't. So, all right, on to the next thing. Next we're going to talk about, before I even go on to the next thing, I want to talk about how people don't even realize that the animals that they eat don't even eat meat. Like cows, chickens, what else? Pigs. Well, pigs eat anything, actually. They dirty. But cows, chickens, whatever else, lambs, none of them eat meat. So how do you think they get their protein? Oh, from the bacteria in the ground, from the grains and the grass that they're eating has the amino acids to fuel their body, as well as their body is meant to be that big. Realize no animal lifts weights. Your body is going to be how big your body's going to be. And it's going to get to its right size based off of your DNA, based off of your genetics and how your body is made up. That don't mean you weak just because you look skinny. You ever, a lot of y'all ain't watched Animal Channel and Discovery Channel and did y'all research on insects and stuff. Like some insects, the amount that they can carry in comparison to their body weight, they like the strongest creatures on the planet. Because everything is relative to you, not necessarily to everybody. If somebody weigh 100 pounds and they can carry 500 pounds for 10 miles, opposed to somebody who is 300 pounds carrying 600 pounds. The 100 pounds carrying 500 pounds is more impressive. And he can do it for longer compared to the 300-pound person who might be able to only carry it not even 1 mile, but can lift it. That don't mean he's stronger just because he can lift more weight. It's relative to the body, right? As well as just the strongest animals in general. Not even animals that people eat. The strongest animals, biggest animals don't even eat meat. Gorillas, elephants, rhinos, hippos, if I'm not mistaken, don't eat meat. Horses. We say cars got horsepower for a reason. Not lion power. Not tiger power. Not alligator power. Horsepower. Because them legs got power. Right? Let me read the chat. Somebody just donated. Appreciate the donation, man. Did he leave a comment? If you left the shout out to, I don't know how to say your name. I don't know. Darinimus Wahlberg. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but if you said something in the chat you wanted me to answer, comment it again so I can see it. Okay, so now bouncing off of that topic, we go to how fruit is your fuel. Vegetables is your fuel, but really fruit more than anything. Electrolytes is your fuel. You could do the etymology on electrolyte and what it means, but you can see the first part of that word is electro, which is electricity, which the body is electricity. We electric people. That's why if you ever do a fruit fast, if you ever eat fruit only for consecutive days, months, you're going to feel better than you ever felt before. You're going to feel more light, more bouncy, more alive than ever before. Your whole mood to life going to change. You're going to be more happy because that's what we meant to eat. You know why a lot of people are mad? Because they diet so bad. They gut so clogged. And this impacts your performance as well. If you feel heavy, you're not going, I don't care, you think, oh, I got to get big. All right, that's cool. But when you feel heavy on the court and you can't move the same way, it's not going to translate to your performance. So fruit hydrates the body, it heals the body, it electrifies the body all at the same time, cleanses the body all at the same time. Even when you do a lot of these things, you should really make your own juice and your own smoothies. I know it's convenient to go to stores and get them, but you should really make your own. Because a lot of the juice places, a lot of the smoothie places, you don't even know if they clean the fruit at all. Now, if you don't want to clean the fruit, that's on you. But you don't know what they doing with the fruit. The fruit could be falling in the trash. They pick it right back up. You don't know what they doing. So you don't know if it's real fruit. You don't know if it got seeds. You don't know how long it's been there. Plus, it's cheaper to make your own. It's cheaper to make your own. So I would advise you as an athlete, as even a regular person that don't play athletes, for your kids, whatever, to make your own juice, make your own smoothies, make your own everything. And eventually, at some point, grow your own food once you get your own house. And eventually, if you live in the United States, move out the United States so you can freely grow your own food. Don't gotta worry about too many chemicals, whatever. But so that, how you doing? But so that goes into how starch is bad, how rice is bad, white rice. A lot of people think rice is healthy for some reason. Let me tell you something. I'm trying to think of any exceptions, but I can't think of any right now. Almost anything anything that you see that is white is not natural. Cauliflower, white rice, white flour, all bad. Sugar, cocaine, all bad. If it's white, it's probably no good. Because white means it's void of nutrients. Nothing in nature really grows white. I'm trying to think, like, it's very rare. And if it does look white, it's probably not even white. It's probably either translucent with the light making it look white, or it's just not natural because they stripped all the nutrients from it. That's why you should get wild rice instead of white rice. I'm gonna read the chat in a minute, y'all. 1 second. Let me see if what's the name. What is your vert? My vert is about 41 to 42. Last time I tested it. I don't know if it's improved. I don't know what, but last time I ever tested it was 42. But now all of this ties back into the fact that there's an illusion that society is advancing. Really, the only society that's advancing, because they live kind of how humans are supposed to live, even with advancements in technology and things, is like the Japanese people, the Asians, some African nations, tribal people. These people is actually advancing. The modern world is not advancing because you got things like cars, which cars are good and all to get to places faster, but also it's made people lazy to the point where people don't walk anymore. But I get it because, see, it all ties in because they now made jobs. They made money. First of all, they created money, which is not real. Then they created jobs for you to have to go spend time to make money, to then spend money, give back to them, which is not even real in the first place. They really just want to waste your time for control. And then you got that which you need a car because your job is most likely not in a so-called walking distance of your house, which your house is a trap too to some degree because your house got AC, which now you can't even take sunlight for more than an hour a day because you are so sensitive to the sun because your body adapts to everything, every environment you put it in. So now your body is so used to air conditioning that the sun feels like torture to you when you forgetting at one point there was no such thing as air conditioning. And how did people live before that, especially people in Africa that live in like the desert or whatever. Like, I'm not saying don't get shade, because even animals get shade, even tribal people sit in the shade, but you done got so used to something fake, air conditioning blowing out this cold air, that you don't even go in the sun no more. The average person is vitamin D deficient because they don't go in the sun. So, yeah, you got the cars, which make you sit down for long periods of time, lock your hips up, make your glutes weak, mess up your posture, because the seats are soft and the back of the seat is soft, which are not providing no stability, and this illusion of comfort and softness is making your bones weaker, making you less, making your fascia weaker, making your muscles weaker. And then you got shoes, the creation of shoes. Now this is good. This is big for athletes. I mean, it's big for everybody really, but we talking athletes specifically here because I'm an athlete. A lot of y'all are probably athletes or got maybe coaches or whatever, parents of up and coming athletes. And so the average shoe, so first let's start off like this. If you go to the first creations of shoes, they were all just, the creation of shoes were for harsh environments, like that your foot can't take. Like if you had to walk over some thorns or something, like to get to a certain area, or you had, the ground was literally so scorching hot that your foot can't take it, or cold environments, right? For harsh environments, the shoe was made. But the shoe is a tool, not part of the body. So we done made the shoe a part of the body. And so, like I said, your foot adapt and it gets weaker. You don't even know what the ground feel like no more. A lot of people, if they were to go outside and walk barefoot for more than 5-10 minutes, 30 minutes, their foot would be in pain because their foot is so used to cushion that they can no longer take the actual ground. And actually, people will look at you crazy as if you're doing something wrong, walking without shoes, just around on earth, when at one point there was no shoes. So, and when there was, it was just a sandal. So your foot could still be free. But now we've evolved to these big brands who are doing it for the fashion. So a lot of the shoes are narrow, which is bringing all the toes together. Let me flip the camera around. The shoes are narrow, which is making the foot, the big toe, my bad, I'm zooming in too far. The big toe go in too far, and the pinky go in too far, squishing all the toes together. As well as the shoes got an arch support. And the arch support is making your arch of your foot relax, which is why people get plantar fasciitis and things like that. Because the arch support is making your foot relax, telling your arch that, oh, we got support here, so we don't need to work. We don't need to fire off. And then this just spirals up your body and leads to all type of problems, knee problems, back problems, spinal problems, no glute activation, which I had my freshman year of college. I was wondering, I was going to school. We had started practicing. They had us in these Adidas. I was wearing these shoes. I think they was James Harden's or something. And mind you, you gotta remember, when these brands make the shoes for the masses, they create them differently than they create it for the actual player. The player gets the shoe customized to his foot. But everybody else is not. Nike is not about to sit there, Adidas is not about to sit there, they're not about to sit there and make a shoe designed for everybody's foot. So they just make one generic size shoe. So now people with different type of foot, especially because the shoe is created for aesthetic and not performance necessarily, even though they say it is, the shoe is now hindering you. And you don't even know what the ground feels like. And you can't even play basketball or your sport without a shoe, without it starting to hurt because you done lost the connection for the ground. But if you go to Brazil, or if you go to like an African country where they don't have no shoes like that, they be playing barefoot. So now their feet is beyond strong. And a lot of people look at them like, they crazy, they don't got no shoes, or they down bad, I feel bad for them, let's give them shoes. But you don't even know they building their feet up, getting their feet strong. This is actually a good thing, especially at a young age. So you got the arch support in the shoes. You got the narrowness of the shoe toe, where it comes to the toes at. That part is usually narrow. Then you got where the insole is so dang thick, you like 2 inches off the ground. That's why everybody height be wrong when they do that, when they be telling people they height. That's why Ace Bailey went from 6'10" to what, 6'7" at the draft combine when they measured him. Yeah, that's because the shoes give you 3 inches off the ground. You can't even feel the ground no more. So, and that's not good because the heel should be elevated on its own, not by something propping it up. This all makes the foot weaker, right? And so, like I said, nature, God, whatever you want to call it don't make no mistakes. So for you to think that nature or God made a mistake in bringing us here barefoot, or even no clothes, was a mistake. It's just that the world has been over-sexualized. Wearing no clothes is not a bad thing. It's just that the world has been over-sexualized. It depends on where you're from, because if you go out to a tribe, a lot of those tribes don't even wear clothes. Or if they do, it's some type of animal skin, or maybe cotton or something. But it's minimal clothing. Now we got fashion and everything. Think about this. There's clothes that cost more than food. And you need food to survive. It's all an illusion to get you to spend money, for you to then waste your money on things you don't need, to then feel like you must work hard for money, to then give it all back to them for you to have to go to work again, for the cycle to keep repeating. But when it comes to shoes are not a good tool unless they are minimal shoes, barefoot shoes. Look up barefoot shoes if you don't have any. Barefoot wide toe box shoes with a minimal, a 0.5 or less inch insole, or no insole at all, so you could just really feel the ground. But even with a like 0.5 insole, you can still feel the ground. All right, now y'all can spam the questions now. Right, consumer bullying. Y'all should watch a movie called They Live. I fell asleep during it, but my brother watched the whole thing. But I understand the point of the movie still. The whole thing was like, the guy had these glasses. And what was it? Okay, when he didn't have the glasses on, he sees all the signs of the stores, like, okay, IHOP, Best Buy, Walmart, blah, 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 Taco Shop, whatever. All the brands, signs and stuff, right? But when he put the glasses on, it's like he sees it for what it really is. And it would say, like, instead of Walmart, it'd be like, buy now, we're taking your money. And stuff like that. So it's basically like he could see the illusion that they were given when he put the glasses on, and see it for what it really is. Because it's not really, it's emotional. A lot of this stuff is emotional. The reason that we buy stuff. Because a lot of the stuff we don't actually need, we just buy it because of you seen something, something made you feel a way. And that's why they say the best type of marketing is the marketing that don't feel like marketing. And make the people feel like they're a part of it. Shout out to Hobson. I don't know if y'all know that song. That's a song by Hobson. But it's called They Live. THEY space live. LIVE. They Live. I actually got to watch that again because I'll be falling asleep sometimes during movies. I got to go watch it again. Let me read some of the comments. Africa is addicted to Crocs now. See, all right, well, yeah, Africa does wear Crocs a lot, which is still not bad because the good thing about Crocs is that the sole of it is kind of somewhat hard to some degree. Even though it's a little squishy, it's not like you can just put your foot on it as like a pillow to where it's just gonna give in and you're gonna be able to push all the way through it like it's some Play-Doh or something. And the toe box, Crocs are very wide to where your foot can move freely in it. You can lift your toes up, you can spread them, so that's good. But still, Africans a lot, even though they do wear Crocs a lot, because the world is ran by people, and people have when you see something, humans are very what do you say that follow what's going on type creatures. Well, all animals are, and we're animals too, but you just follow. You don't even ask questions, and that's the beauty of being a human, though. You can ask questions, you can observe, and you could talk, think, deeply think. But the Crocs are still better than 99% of shoes because they have that wideness and freedom of movement. So I would take Crocs over anything else really that is because a lot of times those Crocs be ripping as well, or just from playing in them so much, the bottom will start to rub off bit by bit, and the sole get even less thick. So Crocs aren't that bad. It's never too late unless you like maybe 20 already and you haven't started. But I would say you need some type of athletic capability to some degree because, well, I won't even say that because you can be like a Jokic type guy. It just depends. It depends all on you. There's no one cookie cut, straight cut answer because you could be 6'11" and be a Jokic or something, or just a freak athlete and be a Giannis or something. So possibly get drafted or whatever, or get on a team. So I don't know how old you are, especially if you're still in high school. You got time. Let me read some of the earlier comments. I watched you at Hutch JUCO. You're my favorite player. Thank you. Hold on. I'm trying to read the chat. Do you think you're beating LeBron one-on-one? Yes. Yes, I do. Let me guess. You're all about God. I don't even know if I should answer that question. I'm all about me. I'm all about God on earth. I'm all about I am God. Not as in I am the creator of the universe, but I am in control of everything I do. And I got to take responsibility for everything I do. So, and I can create, I can move freely. So, when am I coming back? Edward, if you're still in here, I won't be back until next. Actually, I'll be back in August. I just ate my last Snickers. He could be lying, but he could be telling the truth. Put your hand. Vegetables and fruits are even worse these days, especially if you're buying from a grocery store. Yeah, that's why you got to go to a farmer's market most of the time. But I'll tell you this: fruits and vegetables from a grocery store are still better than most meats. Well, not even most. They're better than meats at a grocery store because, like I said, even if they spray, even if the fruits and vegetables are sprayed with pesticides, whatever, you can still clean that off. And even if not, it's still somewhat better than. Okay, that's one thing to the fruits. But with the meat, you got, okay, it decayed already. It's rotting. They dyed it. They put chemicals in it to keep it fresher for longer and all this stuff. We got to get back to living more natural. It's crazy because, like, people think that's like people think it's like crazy to say this stuff. I just think the average person don't think anymore. Probably because everybody went to school and everybody was taught how to think the same. I'm glad I got a different perspective of life and can think outside the box. Because everybody pretty much just goes with whatever information they hear in life and takes it as a fact. And don't even like do their own research or question it, the information, or the person who's giving them the information. And they just take it as truth. I was a kid questioning everything that they told me. And still to this day. Why are we lifting weights? Why are we eating this? Why was this created? Why does it rain? Why does the sun clear up the rain? Why does blah, blah, blah? You got to ask questions to get answers, and then that's going to lead to you asking another question to get another answer. And then by you asking that original question and then getting an answer, and that leading to the more questions, you're going to get more knowledge and be more well-rounded. And then that question is somehow going to stem to a question way over here. It might create a light bulb in your head. It's like, wait, that just made me think of something over here that I never thought about. And I put this and this together. Okay, now that makes sense now. Then you start to unravel truths. And then something that you might have thought was truth might not be truth. So then you got to do more research. You can't have ego with the information because the information don't even belong to you. Information don't belong to nobody. So you can't have no ego with it. You got to be willing to grow. If somebody tell you something that makes more sense, you got to be willing to give up everything you thought you knew and evolve. Well, I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but if you want to evolve, you do. If you don't want to be stuck in one place forever, you do. You're smart, bro. But being big He said, you're smart, bro, but being big can be a genetic thing, too. That's what I said. That is what I said. Oh, I want to talk about this. All right, peep this, right? Chair. Because I know we was just talking about being barefoot. I know we was talking about cars and all this. Sitting down it's so... People can't even sit like this no more. Let me show you. Like, luckily, and this gonna transition into how you use the toilet as well. A lot of people, y'all have no clue how to use the toilet. I think, I would say like 90% of people, maybe more, especially in the United States, don't know how to use the toilet the right way. I think I'm one of the few ones that really do. All right. So, and when it comes to pregnancy, this all gonna tie in. But watch this. A lot of y'all can't even sit down like this. You can't do it. You can't. Expect with your heels on the ground, or even like this. Or even like this. But you definitely can't probably do this. That's the real way to rest. It's better for you because it's an active resting position, and it keep your muscles active. It don't lock them up and make them get dormant. Because when you sit down in a chair, you compressing your fascia and your muscles, and it's getting stiff from being in that position so long. Because most of the time, if you go to class or you at work, you sit in a position for literally hours. So it hinders you. So, but what I said about the toilet is y'all don't know how to use the toilet because you sitting down. Hey, can y'all hear me still? Hold on, I need somebody to confirm if they can hear me still because my mom just called me. All right, cool. So most of y'all use the toilet like you just sit on the toilet, like your legs is on the ground, you sit on the toilet like this. But you know your back gonna be upright because you got something supporting you. But you sit on the toilet, and that's why some of y'all be on the toilet for 30 plus minutes. You know, when I go to use the bathroom, it is literally like 30 seconds. You know why? Because I know y'all gonna be like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? He an animal. But listen, this is literally how you're supposed to do it. And if you talk to anybody who knows anything about health and just the natural way of living, and if you go to like a jungle or whatever, tribes, anything, they all use the bathroom like this. That same position, that same deep squat I was in, I put my feet on the toilet. Yes, I don't care what, oh, he's an animal, whatever you want to say. It's cool. That's why you be constipated on the toilet for 30 plus minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. I'll be on the toilet for 30 seconds to the longest part of my toilet. It depends on how I'm eating at the time. If I'm just eating fruits, I might, if I go to wipe, there might not even be nothing to wipe because it's just so clean. But if I'm eating like other foods, like even if it's healthy food, like quinoa or something, I don't know, it's just different. Like the body digests it different, so it kind of leaves something that you do have to wipe. But that'll be the longest part of my bathroom trip when I go take a shit. So I don't be on the toilet for 10 plus minutes, five. Like if I'm on the toilet for 5 minutes, that means I'm just not eating good. And that'll be the longest. You will never see me on the toilet for 30 minutes, dog. That's literally bad. What animal do you know that's ever, when you take your dog for a walk, your dog takes a dump for 5 seconds and then keeps it pushing. You be on the toilet for 20, 30, 40, 60 hour? Come on. Hour on a toilet literally should never happen in this lifetime. That means you beyond backed up, Brody. Hold on, let me read some of the comments real quick. Oh, and before I even read the comments, so that same position is also how you're supposed to have birth. A lot of y'all are under the impression, a lot of people worldwide are under the impression that you are supposed to have a kid laying down on your back. Does that even make sense? Come on, we gotta start asking questions, thinking. Let me tell you why in modern day people have kids on their back. It all started because I think it was a king, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta my memory not as fresh, but I think it was like a king or somebody of high status. Whatever. When the ladies were going into labor, he put them on their back because he wanted to see their private area. And it intrigued him. And he liked seeing it. He liked watching it. So he freaky and he wanted to see this. So then this translated into all industries, some around the world, of how they have kids. And that's why it be taking hours on hours on hours to birth your child. And then some people have to get a C-section. Dog, you know C-sections are literally should never happen. Like, it should be some type of extreme. You are supposed to be in a squatting position when you have a child. Hold on one second. Yeah, man. We got people pooping the wrong way and delivering kids the wrong way. And also, you got to understand, every industry is not for the betterment of the people. It's for the money making. So, oh, well, if it wasn't the right way to have kids, why would they have us doing it? Because the longer it takes, the more your bill is. And if there's any difficulties and they have to have a C-section, they also get more money. So I gotta remember, everybody in the world is not good. Or even if they are good, they don't always do good things. So y'all gotta start thinking about this type of stuff. Hold on, let me read the comms. Hold on. Can you? Hold on. I play point guard. If you choose one between Jason Tatum or Anthony Edwards, I got Anthony Edwards. Need money, Dud? I don't know what you mean by that, but DJ, the Lakers need a backup center. I don't know what they want me to do about it. I'm not a center. Need burger. Starving. DJ, be the starting shooting guard for the Sixers. Sure. If Will Smith, Rampage. Okay, so that pretty much sums up everything when it comes to health, how you supposed to eat, how you supposed to use the bathroom, everything. Because most of it is wrong. A lot of things that people do in life is literally not the way you're naturally supposed to do it. It's just that I don't know what evil bastards created some difficulty to throw everything off, but we have deceivers and people of confusion who want to throw the world off. So that's why a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff wrong. We got people thinking that eating Fruit Loops and Cheerios is actually good for breakfast. Good for your health. Come on, yeah. They got us, man. They got us good. They got us good for sure. For sure, they got us good. Do you even know? Come on, bro. But cereal is cereal. Bro, cereal was recently invented. Cereal was invented within the last 200 years. Probably 100 years. More recent. And we went millions of years without cereal. I like calisthenics. Calisthenics and cardio. This is my take on different types of training. You should train how you do for your sport. Like people think that like let's say you play basketball, right? People think that running miles will improve their cardio, but it doesn't. It literally just makes you less explosive, less quick, because you train in a different type of system when you do that, because you're not sprinting the whole time, you're jogging. And so you no longer train in that same fiber. And that's why when you be running cardio, you be losing your bounce, you be losing all types of stuff. How cardio should be trained, let's say for basketball, your cardio should be literally playing the game, like playing 5-on-5, 3-on-3, 2-on-2, 1-on-1 in practice, outside of practice, whatever. Also doing drills. You need to run around the whole time. You just need to do each drill hard. Because the game itself is the cardio, because you're doing different type of stuff in the game. It's quick movements, fast movements, but also short movements. I've never seen a basketball game literally just go like this the whole time, jogging. So why are we training like that? It don't make no sense. Hold on. My phone about to die. Put it on charge. Hopefully it don't die before I put it on the charge. Okay, got it. But yeah, it don't make no sense to train how you don't want to be. I'm not a marathon runner. I'm not a 5K Olympics runner where I'm about to run 24 laps at that same pace for an extended period of time. So it don't make no sense. People just go with the flow and go with what they heard, and they actually don't know nothing. And they don't, like I said, they don't ask questions, they don't think. So majority of coaches think this is how you get in shape. But every experience I've had where we did that, I was still tired in the games. I literally was still tired. That the cardio did nothing. And anybody who won't lie and tell the truth about how they felt will tell you the same thing. Like, I guess running miles, dog, you could run 100 miles every day. Get in the game, you will still be tired because you're not training that type of, that different fiber for the body, because you're not going to run that long straight and at that speed in the game. You're not going to jog in the game the whole time. The speed is always changing. Sometimes you're going to be slow. Sometimes you're going to go fast. Sometimes you're going to go mid-pace. Sometimes you're going to go extremely fast. Sometimes you're going to slide. Sometimes you're going to do a quick slide, run. Sometimes you're going to go for a block, then have to run down, then have to change direction because they got to steal, come back on this hand, get another block, get dunked on, whatever. So it's a different type of training you got to do. So should people play sports barefoot? Yes. You should play your sport barefoot unless you absolutely can't. Or even if you don't play your sport barefoot. I think it's good to play a sport barefoot, especially on your own time. But you should just start off by walking barefoot or just by standing barefoot in the grass and in dirt and in different type of terrains and environments to get your feet stronger. need to go brush my hair. Um, what is your favorite way to work? Oh yeah, I already answered that. Imagine playing the Wimbledon barefoot. Shoes give you support for high intensity games. Yeah. I mean, yes, but at the same time, your feet are actually better than the shoes. People got to remember this. People got to remember everything. Okay. I'm freezing. Why am I freezing? We good? All right, there we go. Shoes. All this stuff is for money, so don't. They tricking you, man. If you think that the shoes are better than your foot, you are lost. They're not. It's like saying the robot is better than the human. A human programmed the robot, so the human had to know more than the robot. Hey, get back. For real, I'm on live. I'm almost done. Um, your your feet are designed to adapt to whatever situation, as long as you put them in that situation and train it up. Like, if you watch y'all gotta stop being so closed off to your own reality and study the world, study everything. So I watch a lot of tribal videos so I can learn stuff, right? Because I'm like, I always wonder, like, dang, this can't be like what life is supposed to be. Like, there's no way I'm supposed to work a job or even have to do anything to survive. I gotta pay to live. None of y'all created this world. Why am I paying you to live? It don't even make sense. I'm paying to live. I'm paying to live in a house. Well, I guess they built the house, but it's we have so many problems in the world because they were created problems. A lot of these problems were literally created because of creations. So, for example, you can't pay the rent. Well, rent was never supposed to be meant to be paid anyway because you're not even supposed to be working for somebody who created a business which wasn't even necessary in the first place. Um, wasn't necessary in the first place, and now you have to pay for it. You got to pay rent, and money not even real. They literally print money every day. So that's what makes me mad. I'm like, I don't have to be rich. I will be rich. I will be wealthy, but then at the same time, it's like I only need a certain amount of wealth because I'm not trying to live a insanely lavish life, and then at some point, I'm not even gonna live in this country. So I know the cost to live is not even gonna be that. But nothing that a man creates can be better than the man itself. And even if let's say it is, right? It was still created by the man. So let's say like a machine, for example. Okay, let's create a machine to lift up this heavy stuff. Boom. We still made the invention, but at the same time, we created the machines when a lot of this stuff was unnecessary in the first place. And now we got so much junk on the earth that where does all this junk go? In 10,000 years, we gonna have all these inventions like this. What did we create this for, buddy? What was this created for? This not even ours. Somebody had this on the sidewalk. One of my little cousins picked it up. But we just wasting materials on the planet to make nonsense that was unnecessary, which is destroying the planet. Yo, I am an AAU player in middle school. Do you know how I can put myself out there? You just put yourself out there. I don't know what you mean by put yourself out there, but explain what you mean by put yourself out there. Not better, bro, but it's to protect and support the foot. Well, that's the thing. Your foot don't need no support. Your foot is the strength. Y'all gotta think like y'all gotta think, man. Go to a tribal video and look at what they wear, and look at this type of surface that they are running on, and the type of activities they can do. Go look up the Maasai people. They just recently started wearing like flip flops and stuff, but even flip flops is better than most of these shoes because they're not as thick and whatever, and then you still got space for your foot to breathe. But they not getting the ground contact, but still, they jump like 40 inches standing vert, just doing hops, and it looks like a spring. It don't look like it's a muscled jump. It's a spring type of jump. And they jump like 30 plus 35, 40 inches off the ground, just hopping up like they're on the trampoline. And they're wearing literally no shoe, basically. Some of them wear no shoes, some wear flip-flops, whatever, right? But they don't need the shoe. They literally don't need it. Their foot is, when you train the foot, the same way y'all train muscles and stuff, to be big and be able to lift weights, is the same way the foot can be trained to be strong and withstand anything, right? Because you got to think that some of them is walking on all type of sticks, um, different type of tree barks, and all type of stuff, hard surfaces. And so, I mean, some of those terrains, they need like a form of a shoe. But your foot, your foot will get strong, I'm telling you. You either pay to live or you can go move in the mountains or woods and work to live off the grid. You pay for comfort. That's the illusion. The illusion is that this is comfort. Everybody that live in this country is to some form like really not happy with their life because it's like, man, I don't want to be doing all this, dog, just to survive. That's why everybody mad. Everybody in a survival state, except the ones at the top who run it all, or unless you get rich, rich, rich. But I never understood why, like, okay, I mean, I guess if you want to live that type of lifestyle, I guess, but how people can get like a $100+ million contract, and then like that's not enough though. I think it's not enough if you trying to live a crazy lifestyle. But if you a person who cool with not spending $1 million on a house, maybe even build your own house, maybe get it built, whatever, and just having some land maybe, but living in a different country that's not as expensive. Get some land, grow your own food, have animals if you want to, whatever you want. It's a different type. You don't need that much money. That money could last forever. Cause what are you paying? You're not really paying for food. The food gonna reproduce itself. I was gonna say you're paying for food, but you're not. But sports were invented, so obviously your feet were not meant for those type of games. Feet are for walking and running, not for doing high intensity things barefoot. That's not true. Your body adapt to whatever situation you put it in. So the same way you wasn't meant to eat meat, but your body's so resilient, it's going. You know why you got canines? Because over time, after eating meat for so long in your family's DNA, it was like, all right, we need something to be able to tear the meat. So they gave you two canines on both sides. Humans' teeth, humans' teeth were originally just flat all across. Oh, look at this gap. I know you're gonna say that, but uh, humans' teeth were originally all the same, like these, all across, because there was no just eating meat like that, eating flesh like that. because you didn't have nothing to tear like that. Everything was pretty soft. Fruits are soft, vegetables are pretty soft for the most part. Your teeth can handle that, right? Um, what did he say though? But yeah, a lot of things were invented by man, and it's not a bad thing for man to invent things. It's just that when they get carried away and start overly doing it to the point where it hinders us, because this stuff is supposed to be used as a tool, not used as the normal, right? But even for sports, sports has been made a career for athletes, whatever. Your body is not necessarily supposed to go through that much. Your body wasn't invented to go through that much. Um, that much. What do you call that? That much strain on the body, but your body will adapt. But you can play basketball barefoot. Yes, you can. I literally see people in Africa all the time. Literally, they still dunking. Mind you, not the whole Africa. Some people got shoes. Some people think this the illusion. This the killer part. If I say somebody in Africa do it without shoes, people gonna automatically think that's a bad thing. When I just had this whole thing about why no shoes are important. I don't mean that's bad. They actually usually become more athletic than the people who was wearing shoes their whole life. Bro, where you want to move to? Oh, where I want to move to? I want to move to like Jamaica or like somewhere in Africa, like Tanzania or something. Um, somewhere where it's tropical, because I want to grow my own food. But if it's in the United States, if it's somewhere, I don't really want to live in the U.S. in like 10, 20 years. More like 20, like 15 years, sir. So by the time I retire from basketball, I don't want to live in, like, after I'm done with basketball, I don't want to live in the U.S. no more. Until it's my kids' turn. And unless my kids want to play soccer or something, then they don't have to live in the U.S. at any point. Because they could just play soccer in one of the overseas places, whatever. Or if they wanted to do it professionally. Or, like baseball. I don't think there's baseball overseas, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I'm gonna let my kids play football for the long run, but I'll let them play football like when they kids and stuff and growing up. But I just don't like that as a career because it's just too OD for me. Well, I guess football. They say football getting softer. I don't really watch football, so I wouldn't know. But um, yeah. Nah, yeah. Some inventions were for surely needed, like I guess like bowls, um, you know. But some things, but some things were just made for you to be lazier, like spoons, forks. For most of the natural food on the planet, you don't need these tools. Like people, except for like maybe like a watermelon, but still you could throw a watermelon or drop a watermelon from a decent height and it'll break open. So you still don't even need a knife for that, really. Only thing you would need, even for a coconut, you could dang near throw a coconut against the wall. But you kind of need a knife for that. But like a coconut, you could throw that against the wall or something, whatever. Hello, Sharon Williams, Kamisha's sister. Um, he's saying oil up for the stream as if I'm ashy or something. All right, that pretty much concludes the live. I just wanted to come on here and talk about that. Talk about how the easiness of life has made things complicated, and how a lot of the food that people eat is bad. But it's weird because people act as if being skinny or slimmer is a bad thing. But a good majority of the world is fat, which is literally like unhealthy for most people, unless that's your natural, literal natural build. And this is the way you find out your natural build. Eat healthy for an extended period of time and see how your body looks. If you still got that same build, then that's your natural build. But you was not meant to have your stomach hanging to your feet. You was not meant to have, you should be able to see, dang near see your veins. Or almost be able to see them. So, that's about it. Thank y'all for joining the live. It was fun. We'll do it again next time.